There are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists trying to call them and all kinds of stuff. So people in the other rooms next to me, if my nurse comes by, like people can hear me and think I'm violent or aggressive. Dude, look at how much hair they made fall so that they can see that they're weird. They will abuse you and torture you, and at the same time, they want to make you look violent. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them to die, please. I'm trying to read, so I'm going to continue to do so. I just want to make it clear that that's what I'm doing, and they're trying to deter me from what I'm doing and they're playing with my head to make me tired. The first steps towards progress begins on the federal level. The national government must enforce stricter regulations and rigorous training for immigration and customs enforcement. By doing so, would decrease the number of sexual assaults as it rids most the problems previously listed. Increasing surveillance footage and mandating an employee tracking system under these new regulations will hold ICE officers to new standards, resulting in a huge improvement of the overall quality of life for the immigrants. The states have very limited power with immigration issues because it's predominantly mandated by the national government, but they are still able to assist in various ways. One solution that is almost underway is to allow certified state therapists entry. Get off of me. Now he's making spitting sounds. Is to allow certified state therapists entry to the immigration centers so the victims can work through their hardships in a healthy way. One solution that is almost underway is to allow certified state therapists entry to the immigration centers so that victims can work their hardships in a healthy way. Rita Watson, Psychology Today, 2016, states that American Psychological Association has made it a mission to help local state therapists assist immigrant children and their families heal their therapeutic work. It is time to progress towards healthier environment. Lastly, what can we do to solve the problems? The answer is through legislative reform. I had the privilege of interviewing a coastal political science professor. Lastly, what can we do to solve the problem? The answer is through legislative reform. They're playing with my head. I had the privilege of interviewing a coastline political science professor. They have worked closely with multiple state representatives and U.S. senators in developing a proposed legislative policy that will protect the basic human rights of the immigrants. The policy not only includes the concepts I mentioned before, such as training and surveillance, but also ensures that if ICE employees infract any of the new set forth regulations, they will be suspended without pay until an official hearing. This proposition is currently in the works and will be proposed on the 2020 ballot. This proposition is currently in the works. Okay. By voting yes on this policy, you will be making immigration centers a safer place. Conclusion. Summary statement. We are now all aware of the problems with ICE abuse, why it happens, and what we and others can do to solve this matter. T. Sangaramurthy of America Anthropologist, 2018, summarizes it best when saying, we are putting a band-aid on something that requires stitches. Without the proper attention, resolution will not be achieved. Concluding remarks, the violation of basic human rights is a serious matter that should not be taken lightly. Regardless of your opinion on immigration or what political party you identify with, rape and assault should not be tolerated. I will leave you with this, indicated by Maria Sacchiti from the Washington Post, 2018. A 3-year-old toddler died just 3 weeks ago after being released from an ICE detention center. Reports show the child was seen twice by ICE medical staff, but when the symptoms worsened, the mother was viewed as a nuisance. It was placed as a nuisance and was placed in confinement with her child. Her baby girl developed a severe respiratory infection, which resulted in the toddler's death just weeks after the release. Juarez is now suing the United States. Was placed in confinement with her child. Her baby girl developed a severe respiratory infection, which resulted in death just weeks after the release. Juarez is now suing the United States for a wrongful death claim and child abuse, seeking upwards of $60 million. If the proper regulations were put in place, this death would have never occurred. If Juarez wins this case, think about where the $60 million comes from. That is correct. Taxpayer funds. Our money will be reallocated in order to pay Miss Juarez, when undoubtedly this whole situation could have been avoided. There must be a call to action. Thank you. Works cited page. There are Egyptian American Muslim women, terrorist women, talking inside of my head. I'm not, despite the fact that these are all injuries, I'm not all that fucking offended that the piece of shit's talking in my head get to see what my mind actually looks like. Like, my mind is the same maturity level as what apparently my face must look like to these bitches now. They needed a clear representation of what the fuck I'm on. I want the bitches to die on God. The bitches think they're playing little kiddie games with war weapons. Oh my fucking God. I'm like in a state of shock because I know I shouldn't have been in the position I'm in. Like, I'm way too smart for this. I'm way too tactful. I'm way too reserved. I'm way too conservative. I'm way too logical. I am liberal when necessary. I am emotional when it calls for it. I am honest. I am all the things that positions of high power need. And the bitches talking in my fucking head are sitting retarding me, so I can't achieve these levels of success and get to the places where I need to be, because they know damn well. So if I can't sentence them to death from there, I swear to God, from where I sit right now, I will sentence these bitches to death on every fucking thing I love. I swear to God, there are Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists talking in my head. I want those bitches to die, you hear me? They think they're gonna oppress us. I want them to die. They don't want to see me die, I swear. They're scared because it'll be the last time they ever fucking sit behind that weapon. I swear to God, I'm done talking. I want those bitches to die. I want those bitches to die on everything I love, from the Jeffrey Dahmers to the Dexters, down to the pedophilia, rape, defamation, heart attacks, the diseases and the failures of organs so that they're trafficking drugs and putting money in insurances and and knowing who, like, where to allocate their money, because they know that there's a wave of diabetes coming because they just destroyed a bunch of kids' pancreases, or they know what they're fucking doing. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're shuffling money, damaged organ trafficking, sex trafficking, manipulating people's minds, rewiring brains. They're like, this is on another fucking level. On another level. They were saying about this guy that I dated, because his brother dresses like a woman, like, haha, look at your little fucking homosexual brother, or his homosexual brother. And the guy I was dating he's a little fucking genius. Like, he can, oh my god, like, I don't know, like, intellectually I meet people and I'm like, oh my god, they're so fucking smart. But then at the same time, I look at, like, the levels of logic and, like, how much of their logic they use and how much they're emotionally driven, and it retards them. So I'm like, in regards to, like, emotional, their emotion, like, having control of their emotional state and being able to stay within a logical frame of mind, even under, like, feeling the emotional stress that they feel, like, it's where was I going with it? Because they're playing with my head. It's obvious that some people, like, get lost in it, and they forget really, there's logic that's, like, far, like, it's a much bigger picture and a far deeper, like, representation and of who they actually are. And despite their accomplishments, like, their emotional drives them to make like poor decisions. So I can't even say that some of the people that I've encountered that are as smart as they are, I guess I'm trying to wrap back around to what I was saying. I do give them credit because they really are intelligent, and I don't know if the terrorists are playing with their heads or not. But I can tell, like, emotionally they're not intact. And I want to blame it on the terrorists, because the terrorists talking in my head. So, I mean, I and then again, I could be of equal intelligence with those people. Maybe we're all on the same platform, but these terrorists are playing with our heads all in different ways. They're playing with them emotionally and retarding them in those ways. And then in me, in the intellect, like, playing with my intellect and my ability to comprehend. They're playing with my mind. But I know I'm not retarded. Like, I know I'm not stupid. Like, I know what's going on. Like, sometimes I hear some of these targeted individuals, a majority of them, honestly, and I'm just like, oh, wow. They are so far gone. Like, so far gone. So I just, like, I mean, in comparison, like, I know that I believe that I could have been in a much different position than I'm in if it wasn't for these terrorists. Like, I know that I'm intact. Like, I know I'm logical. I know I'm balanced. Like, I know what I am. Oh my fucking god. They're playing with my head. So again, I'm all over the place. But it's just state of shock. There's just so much to fucking say. There's so much to say. Like, this is on top of the fact that they're playing with my head. Like, there's so much to fucking say. There's so much to, like, there's so much that they're hiding. There's so much going on here. There's so much to say, and they're playing with my head. He farted in my head, like, haha, you had a brain fart, you airhead. Like, he's insinuating I'm an airhead because they retarded me with the weapon. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. These are their brothers and their sons and their dads. Dude, what the fuck? Excuse me. You see what I'm doing? You see my demeanor? I'm in a robe. I'm wearing a faja. I'm wearing 4 foams, like these things. Okay? A compression garment. I'm wearing compression socks. I'm wearing this something that looks similar to this, but it's only in my stomach area because the one in my back hurts. Okay? A board. It's called a board. I'm in a robe. I'm in pajamas. Look at me. Like, I'm not dressed glamorous. I'm in my room. Like, what is it that could possibly be causing the terrorists to talk in my head to want to hurt me? I have a daughter that's at home, taking care of the cats with her brother and my mom. In California. I'm in Florida. I like my mom just went to my cousin's daughter's birthday party. Just like, what the fuck is it on these terrorist minds that makes them want to hurt me and my family? I want people to take a look around that know what is going on. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, I'm not expecting anything but, like, comments about how crazy I sound, which is fine. I'm not here to argue. But for those of you who fucking know, what in God's name do you see me doing that would call for these terrorists to quote unquote investigate me? These bitches are playing a very fucking stupid game. I swear I want them to die. All day long, I want you to know. So I'm reading. I'm going to finish reading what I was reading because 6 pages, persuasive speech, they're talking in my head. And I don't want you to think that I waste my time just sitting here, like, dwelling on the terrorists talking in my head, because I can't. I got to make money, and I want to try to move on with my future. And on top of the fact, I want to prove that they're talking in my fucking head and they're torturing me. So as I proceed to read this persuasive speech outline, I will explain to you what they're doing to attack me, so you know, like, it's not me, really. And I know you guys know, with the hashtag Karens here and the hashtag Karens there, and the Karen Sue Karmas, and the war on terrorism, and the Palestinian war, and like all the things that are, like, indicative, like the terrorists talking in my head, that you're after these terrorists. To all of you that are after them, I'm not lying. So let me proceed, okay? So, and this is like basic stuff. Haley Fairless, okay, this is who wrote this speech. Persuasive speech outline. Topic: lack of thorough background checks on Uber drivers. Not to say that hers is like basic. It's just, this is a fundamental class. It's just a foundation. Like, we're not even talking about, like, we're not diving deep into, like, medications or medicines, or like links between, like, chemicals, or and chemistry is involved, and we're talking about we're talking math and what is it called, pre-calculus and things of that nature. We're talking like basic arguments that people have. Okay. Topic: lack of thorough background checks on Uber drivers, which is a great subject, by the way. General purpose: to persuade the audience to agree with the issue of Uber safety. 100% great topic. Specific purpose: for me to persuade the audience to realize that the company Uber needs stricter, they played with my head already, to realize that the company Uber needs stricter background checks and to promote immediate action because it puts all of us at risk. Okay, they retarded me again. Uber needs stricter background checks. Okay, that's what I said. And to promote immediate action and to promote, I forgot that I read that, because it puts us all at risk. Okay, so they need background checks and to enforce it immediately. Promote immediate action. Attention gainer. Growing up, you are taught to never get in a car with a random stranger, that doing so can quickly take turn for the worst. However, with they're playing with my head, there's a comma here, and they see it. However, with car riding companies like Uber around, comma, okay, they're playing with my head. With car riding companies like Uber around, people often forget about this. One particular case in 2016 shook the nation when a group of innocent pedestrians took what that thought was going to be normal. Okay, let me read it again. One particular case in 2000 shook the nation when a group of innocent pedestrians took what they thought was going to be a normal Uber car ride. Turns out that their driver, a 45-year-old male named Jason Dalton, was about to these customers a front row seat to a mass shooting. Turns out the driver, a 45-year-old male named Jason Dalton, was about to these customers a front row seat to the mass shooting. According to an article by Azusha Ellenson published in Dow Jones Institutional News in 2016, this man killed 6 people and injured 2 others, all while taking different passengers along for the ride. One of the passengers, Matt Mellon, explains his experience by saying, "We were driving through medians, through lawns, speeding, and through medians, like the middle middle intersection wall." Okay, so he was driving through medians. Okay, well, let me see. Through lawns, speeding, and when we came to a stop, I jumped out of the car and ran. It is clear to see that this murderer has no remorse for human life. Who does that sound like? However, the car riding company he worked for, Uber, missed this tiny detail. Okay. Turns out this man had passed his background check with Uber, which allowed this murderer to put innocent lives at risk. Given that nowadays the convenience of Uber has become a very popular source for transportation, it is imperative we avoid situations like this one from happening again. Thematic statement. So how did this killer pass his background check, allowing him to ride with the multi-billion-dollar ride-sharing company? Simple. Uber fails to have thorough enough background checks on their drivers, which in turn put people's lives in danger. Preview. Today I'll be talking about the problem of Uber's lack of thorough background check, the causes behind the issue, and how to solve it. Thorough background check, the causes behind this issue, and how to solve it. So is the causes of okay, well, we're going to read on. The causes as to why they don't conduct background checks? Okay. Or the causes to, okay, whatever. Like I said, I'm not stupid, dude. Like, I know how to organize my thoughts, but they're playing with my head. Not to say that but I'm 40 years old. Main point number 1, the problem. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying I speak at a 40-year-old level. They're playing with my head. I am very well spoken. My thoughts are very logical and organized. I am a very thorough human being. These terrorists talking in my head are murdering me. I want them to die. They know damn well I'm not fucking joking around. Like, they saw what I look like. My hair was curly. It was pretty. They saw I dropped weight. They saw I was going to work. Like, they knew my potential. And then they knew what I was on, and they know I'm not on any bullshit. I want them to die, you hear me? They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I swear to God, I swear to God. I don't give the piece of shit's like, I murdered women just like him. Like, he doesn't fucking understand. Women like me are the reason, like, we're done. I want to make it clear, women like me are the ones who eliminate terrorists like him and his fucking psychotic family. I am done talking. That bitch is fucking out of here. He's a psychopath. Main point number one, the problem. While Uber does do a basic background check on their employees, it has been proven to not be strong enough and results in devastating and dangerous situations such as rape, stalking, and even murders. Looking into the cases of rape first, it is clear that it occurs more often than it should under Uber. According to an article by congressional documents and publications published in the Washington in 2018, over 100 Uber drivers have committed sexual assault in the past 4 years, far more than there should have ever been. Far more than there should ever be. The extreme safety issue, they're playing with my head, like putting words in my mouth. This extreme safety issue has scared the lives of several victims and broken the hearts of their families. Mind you, I want to say something. I want to add something to this. So they can log into my portals, okay? And they can download the documents that the professors download. And they can run it through the terrorist document. They can run it through their AI, and they can tell it to add in words or take words out and make it sound like, either make it sound illiterate or literate based on however they want me to sound. Like, they can do all this with the weapon. Really, they can read the mind of the teacher, know which article he's going to post, could have had the weapon for, like, read through the speeches that the professor had to chose from those speeches, and like they could have actually put these examples up. The terrorist talking about my head. That's like how sophisticated the fucking weapon is. And like, it's all stored away in a file and with my name on it, and they're just like, okay, all we got to do is we just got to convince Renee to commit suicide and stay away from cameras, stay away from credible people, stay away from medical professionals, not do her hair, act like, we got to convince her that she's a whore, and then she has to prove herself to us so she can ha ha ha, so they can ha ha ha, watch me fucking run around and fucking fuck everything walking and make fun of me because I'm ugly, but I feel pretty because stupid men are giving me attention and I'm proving it to them, and like, so he's playing with my head again. Where was I going with this? Because he's playing with my head again. I'm so glad I'm here to explain to you every time I actually have a lapse. Because someone is electrocuting my fucking head. Like, I am so ready to watch those bitches die. Anyways, what was I saying? So let me keep reading, but what was I saying? I forgot. They completely wiped my head of any thought that I had on my mind as to what I was saying and what what I had said and what I had intended to say. Oh my fucking god, I want those bitches to die. They're watching me do this from their homes. They're talking in my head. Mind you, I'm not live streaming. I'm going to post this like 2 or 3 times just to make sure it gets posted. Oh my fucking god. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. I want them sentenced to death. Over my dead body, dude. I have weird feelings about being a good person. Like, I get a rush. Like, I get a rush knowing that I'm gonna die a good person. It's fucking like, I'm weird like that. Sexual assault in the past 4 years, far more than there should ever be. This extreme safety issue has scared the lives of several victims and broken the hearts of their families. For example, one particular incident was with an Uber driver named Alarcon Nunez from San Luis Obispo. He's saying, what were you fucking just saying, stupid bitch? Try to remember. Like, he's trying to steer me away from reading. And by the way, they wanted half my face to melt. Okay, so I look like I have Bell's palsy. Like, it's wow to the bitches talking in my head. I want them to fucking die on everything I fucking love. Oh god, I'm done talking. Oh my god. The thought, like, I just want to be here. I know it's gonna happen. They're making it so clear. They're talking in my head and they're obsessed with me. Now, have you seen me smoke, drink, do anything? No. For example, one particular incident was with an Uber driver named Alarcon Nunez from San Luis Obispo who preyed on innocent college girls during his work hours. They were saying like prayed. Oh, I'll remember. I was talking about how they can like organize all this stuff and how sophisticated the weapon is. He's scratching my head really and my nose aggressively. He just took control of my hand. According to an article by Christopher Weber published in AP Financial in 2018, he described how this man targeted Cal Poly University students and would purposely follow my eyes because he's pulling my eyes so that I can't read. So just watch my eyes. He described how this man targeted Cal Poly University students right now and would purposely drive in areas near bars and restaurants in hopes of picking up an intoxicated woman. Sure enough, he was able to achieve this disturbing goal and raped 4 college girls, all of whom were between the ages of 19 and 22. It turns out Alarcon Nunez was not even a legal U.S. citizen, which shows just how little of a background check they did on him. How interesting, because this is like, if we were to say this about, they would call this a revolving door in ethnic studies, that argument. Stalking, and the list doesn't stop there with Uber's unsuccessful background checks. Stalking, and the list doesn't stop there with Uber unsuccessful background checks, as it also has resulted in serious stalking problems. According to an article by Tom Withrow, published in the Daily Mail in 2018, over 1,100 Uber drivers have committed stalking crimes in its 9 years of being a company. Okay. Obsessive stalking is an extreme lack of privacy and creates a massive threat for riders. Stalkers. Let's talk about stalkers talking in my fucking head. Like excessive stalking, like all the characteristics of the terrorist talking in my head, I'm reading in this article. Like they may actually be the ones behind these people that are being defamed and the people and the victims of those crimes. Dude, I don't know what the fuck to say here. Obsessive stalking is an extreme lack of privacy and creates a massive threat for riders. Since people often use Uber to get back to their home, it is important that the drivers have had a proper background check to avoid dangerous people from knowing someone's personal information. Okay? Murder. And for the worst situations, this problem has caused murder. The fact that there has been multiple cases of Uber drivers murdering passengers is beyond concerning. An article by Reza Habersham, published in the Atlanta Journal in 2018, explains how a man named Robert Bivens was found guilty of multiple murders throughout his Uber driving career. One was found guilty of Okay, and he was free after one murder? Whoa. One included the killing of an innocent man named Ryan. Is this Uber's fault? Ryan Thornton. Ryan was recently engaged to a woman named Jerica, but due to his Uber driver's malicious act, Ryan will never get to see his wedding day. Police say that Ryan was shot 4 times, the first 2 being fatal and the last 2 being after he died. This killer driver should have never, they're hurting me right here underneath my chest, have never passed a background check with the Uber, and if he was properly evaluated before getting his job, Ryan might still be alive. A murderer is out on the loose driving cars. Like, what the fuck? Now that we see the negative implications of Uber lack of thorough background checks being a problem due to rape, stalking, and murder, let's take a look at the causes for why this is happening. Okay, I'm only on page 3 because they're still playing with my head. Main point number 2, why it's happening. Part of the problem roots from both the company's hiring process and personal decisions. Uber's current process flaws, starting with the faults of the Uber's hiring process. There are major issues that need fixing. They're like, get up, you fucking fat bitch, go eat. They're talking in my head. Given that the Uber has over 750,000 employees in the U.S., it is important to know exactly who their employees are. An article written by Caitlin Johnston from Tampa Bay Times from 2018 shines light on the current hiring process of Uber and notes how no fingerprint background check is required to become an Uber driver. Instead, the process takes place in only a few minutes and is all online. They only use their social security number to check the bare minimum of your driving and criminal record without the fingerprinting process. They are missing key information about their drivers, ranging from certain felonies to even small misdemeanors. Uber is fighting mandatory fingerprinting because they don't want the public to have access to their drivers' personal records due to the fear that other companies may recruit their employees. However, worrying about competition rather than customer safety is not helping the problem. Okay. Also, it turns out Uber has admittedly disregarded background checks by hiring criminals anyways, according to an article by Wayne Heilman published in the Gazette from 2017. The Colorado Public Utilities Commission fined the company Uber $8.9 million in 2017. Again, they're playing with my head, for allowing drivers with criminal or driving offenses or non-valid licenses to work for their company. Without licenses, It states that Uber authorized 57 drivers in the year of 2000 to work for them, even though these drivers obtained felony convictions, vehicle violations such as driving while intoxicated, reckless driving, and other offenses. Dude, it's so crazy. Like, I can get like a no seatbelt ticket, and I swear to you, because the terrorists talking in my head don't want me to work so fucking badly, I wouldn't get. They wouldn't approve my application to work for Uber if I needed to make another means of income. Or find another means of income. Like, that's how bogus this bullshit is with the terrorists talking in my head. I want them to fucking die. You hear me? They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking in my head. He's like, haha, look at you. Look at your hair parted. You look like a boy. I made you look like a boy. He's talking in my head like a psycho retard. What is this? I would sentence this. I would be like the Saudi king. I would behead this piece of shit in a second. I would watch it. Sober. Oh my fucking God. The بيلعب that he's playing. This is what they want, you fucking, the piece of shit talking about it. This is what all they want, the government wants, is people like me to record all day, make it obvious, report what's going on in their head, make it obvious they're working towards trying to improve their lives, make it obvious that the terrorists are oppressing, not just, this isn't oppression, this is retarding, this is murder. Make it obvious that the terrorists are murdering them and trying to frame them and convict, like, and defame them, and like, they want this, and I'm giving it to them because I want the bitches to sentence to death. And the terrorists talking in my head continue to do it. What the fuck? This is fucking crazy, dude. Like, I have a world of opportunity to sentence the bitches to death, and the fucking piece of shit talking in my head, like, really still has the fucking nerve. وهم عارفين, and they know. I'm talking in Arabic. The terrorists talking in my head know they're being investigated and that the government wants them sentenced to death. And then the terrorists talking in my head are saying Dexter style. They're going to murder my daughter, Dexter style. That's what they keep saying. Like that part where Dexter, they threw the head of that woman, like, so what's the word for, like, carelessly, like her life meant nothing, like that human being was just nothing, a human being that was just walking and breathing and talking and moving, and like, they just chopped her head off and threw it like it was a Barbie doll's, like, plastic head. That's what they said they're going to do to my daughter. The women don't like me at all. Because I don't give a fuck about their men. And I obviously don't give a fuck about them. I want them all to die. Also, it turns out Uber has admittedly disregarded background checks by hiring criminals anyway, according to an article by Wayne Heilman published in the Gazette. Okay, I read this already. It states that Uber authorized some felon conviction to work, and I was saying, oh yeah, I could have the stupidest offense if and they'll disqualify me. It's crazy. The fault of this problem isn't just within the company. Sometimes people forget the importance of self-awareness and in turn decrease their safety. The rider owns a responsibility to also do their own research of their drivers and to be aware of their risks in going into a car with a stranger, given that some people don't have a car as a form of transportation. Uber is a great choice to utilize when in need of a ride. However, it is important to know that putting yourself in situations such as riding alone at more risky times or in risky areas increases chances of being in a dangerous situation, therefore adding to the problem. Internal summary. Now that we've seen the causes as to why Uber's lack thorough background checks is happening, let's see how to solve it. Okay, so they've said that there's competition in the workforce, and they don't want them stealing their which, oh, okay, so they did have not a valid point, but they had a point, and it was regarding that, because I was like, where are they going with this? I thought it was kind of weird. So much clearer than I definitely read on. Okay, so solvency. For the issue, the terrorist talking in my head is really mad because he sees a woman sitting, talking, and not a child anymore. And I was never childish. I just didn't know what was going. It's like a state of shock. I'm sure. I mean, there's time has to go on, and I have to go through these waves. It's not like they're gonna outwardly say what they're doing to me. So it took me a minute to catch on to their little games. Solvency for this issue, he's pulling on my skin, would include acts that the U.S. federal government, the company Uber itself, and you can all do it. Increase driver safety. Federal government, starting with the U.S. government, they should make a law to mandate that all transportation network companies must have fingerprint-based criminal background checks, according to an article by Sage Lazaro published in the New York Observer in 2017. Fingerprinting is a standard for many jobs with contact with large amounts of people, such as nurses and teachers, and given that Uber drivers work with hundreds of people a day, this tool would be an extremely useful source of information to protect riders. If fingerprinting federal law, the roads overall would become a safer place for transportation. Companies across the become a safer place for transportation across the United States. Organization. Another way to solve the problem would be having the company Uber itself improve its hiring process. So the first solvency was increased to mandate transportation network and have fingerprints. The second one, another way to Uber itself to improve hiring process. For starters, they should make the hiring process more personal by requiring a personal interview. Another could be to have mandatory dash cams in every Uber. And on a personal level, lastly, a solution for which us as consumers can do. If you are female, there are other alternative companies that may be safer in case you still don't feel comfortable driving with a male driver. One of them is called Safer, according to an article by an anonymous publisher published in PR News Wire in 2018. The ride-sharing company is exclusive for women and provides only women drivers, given that female drivers account for fewer than 25% of the ride-sharing companies. This is a great alternative for women who specifically want a woman driver to avoid being in an uncomfortable situation with a potentially dangerous man. Another thing you can do is simply alter both Uber and authorities alter. See what I'm saying? They're probably mad. When something about your Uber driver seems suspicious, since we live in a day and age where people are more prone to being a bystander and not speaking up. The simple tip is an easy solution to anyone that anyone can do. Altering authorities immediately not only can save your life, but the lives of others as well. To conclude, after looking at the problem of Uber's lack of thorough background checks, the cause of this problem and solutions is clear to see that this is an issue we must not ignore, whether you use Uber or not. The safety of the roads affect us all, including our loved ones. No one should have to fear for their life whenever they need a ride to work or school or even just friend's house. Without solving the problem, who says you're not the next person to be put on the victims list with the heading Uber strikes again. And then here's our works cited page. My informative speech was on BCIs, brain and computer interfaces, and how they improve cognition. They're for sensory and motor skills, and they're also able to stabilize psychological conditions, not necessarily neurological, but like Alzheimer's, but we're talking about more like emotional depression and post-traumatic stress type conditions, and communication and to help improve your senses. Oh, I said sensory. I don't know if that falls in this, but anyways, yeah, it was a great, like, my speech would have been amazing, but they were playing with my head so fucking hard. I'd have gotten an A on it for damn sure. Like, there's no way in fucking hell, dude. I want these bitches to die more than anything. They're Egyptian American Muslim women terrorists. They're talking inside my head.